We have another hurricane in the Atlantic Basin. I'm Mike Naso from the Tropical Video Update page on YouTube with the latest on the tropics, and we have a brand new hurricane, the second of the year. That's Hurricane Chris, and Chris is sitting just off the North Carolina coastline here. However, the motion is now northeastward. It is increasing, and it will stay away from land, at least from the U.S. It could still affect the Canadian Maritimes up here, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, areas like that need to be on the alert for some potential troubled seas. We also have the remnants of what was once another hurricane, Beryl, which is looking a little interesting north of Hispaniola, causing some gusty winds and heavy rain through the greater Antilles. First, let's get to the latest on Hurricane Chris as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Chris was at 33.7 north, 72.4 west. Winds were 85 miles per hour. This is a solid Category 1 hurricane, and it is forecast to become a Category 2 of about 100 miles an hour. So if there are ships out there in the North Atlantic, beware of Chris. It's moving northeast now at 10, a big difference from that stationary movement we've seen with it. And again, that pressure is now down to 980 millibars, and it is forecast to continue to strengthen. The waters are pretty warm this year around the area of the Gulf Stream. However, the motion should continue to be northeast, and by next weekend, it'll be way out here near Ireland as a post-tropical potential cyclone out there. So that's something we're going to keep an eye on. Again, no disagreement in the movement here. It's very obvious Chris is going to move straight out towards the northeast. And that's all in response to a trough that's starting to move here through the United States and the ridging to the south, and this is all combining to steer Chris off in a northeasterly direction away from land. Thank goodness that there wasn't ridging building in, pushing this closer to the east coast. We'd be dealing with a strong hurricane impact in the mid-Atlantic. So Chris is looking much better organized. You can see there on the water vapor imagery, it has moisture around it. The dry slot in the middle is a well-defined 20 nautical mile wide eye, and that is why it has strengthened into the second hurricane of the season. Another beautiful look at it here on the visible satellite imagery. Convection bursting there, clearly in a strengthening phase, as Chris is just saying hello to the Outer Banks. Right here are the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and the cloud shield is beginning to move away. In fact, we can no longer see the eye or the eye wall building on the long-range radar, which is good news that Chris is heading away. But still, you're going to have high swells, high surf. You got a strengthening hurricane right in a bird's eye vantage point of the Outer Banks. It's going to cause some heavy surf, I can tell you that much. Now, here's what's left of Beryl, and you can see there is obviously some sort of twisting, but it doesn't appear to be closed off, just to the east of the Turks and Caicos Islands, and that is causing a little bit of concern that whatever's left of Beryl could regenerate, and if it does so, we're a little uncertain how favorable conditions might be. However, it could redevelop. And even though it might be weak, I'm not liking some of these models showing it lingering here near the Bahamas, and even one of the BAMs showing it pulling a gene and heading in a loop straight back towards Florida. We don't want this system near land. We want to get it out of here. However, if it does regenerate, we're going to have something brewing here again off the southeast coast. So we're going to keep an eye on it. There's nothing there right now. But again, this was once a hurricane as well, so got to watch it. I mean, it's the middle of July, and anything can happen, as we see with the two hurricanes we've had so far in what could be, or at least is expected to be, a slow hurricane season. You can see a very favorable upper level pattern over Hurricane Chris, and a little bit of a safe harbor here, right where the remnants of Beryl are headed, in between, obviously, a high area of shear. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Again, it's interesting to watch. Hopefully nothing comes of it. But again, so far, who would have thought two hurricanes by the 10th of July, especially in a year that seems anomalously cool and not that favorable. But we've had it happen in the past, and the seasons haven't turned out to be much. We've had it happen in the past, and they've turned very active. And all it takes is one. So, we'll keep an eye on the tropics. I'm Mike Naso. I'll talk to you guys next time.